What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Corvette Weekly. This is obviously a special Memorial Day edition. Thank you for tuning in. Obviously, we want to take a minute to remember those who served and remember those who gave all, basically. We were just talking about this off camera. And obviously, if you guys don't know, David did serve. He did give a lot, but he did not give all. So
No.
those that did serve, that did give all, that's what we're remembering today. So big
Right.
thank you to those who serve. Of course, obviously we got David, Protective Dad Prank Steve served. My friend Dana,
Yep.
you guys know him. He
Yep.
served. Of course, pretty much everyone in this room probably has a grandfather who served at some point. We're here to remember those who served and gave everything they had for us.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't be here for
Yep.
if it wasn't for that
Yep.
stuff. So happy Memorial Day. Hopefully you guys all had a nice day with your family, cooking out, eating hamburgers, that kind of thing. But
That
remember
sounds
what
good.
this was really about. It's not just about hamburgers and hot dogs.
That's right. That's right.
So, welcome back, Corvette Weekly. Like I said, unless I am dead or dying, I will have this show, and that includes on holidays. So if you guys keep tuning in on holidays, I'm going to keep doing it on holidays. This is kind of towards the end of the day anyway, so I figured a lot of people would still, jump on here, even if you are with your families, because it's kind of, winding down anyway. But I saw a question I wanted to. Oh, right off the bat, I guess I'll address this question really quickly here. Uh, Actually, it's more of a statement, but where was that? Dang it! These comments come in so fast. You guys are crazy.
Today it's blowing up, dude.
Yeah, there's a lot of green names over there. Again, I like it a lot.
I love it.
Lots of green names.
I like how it's
Uh,
just continued to take over and get more green. I love that.
I agree. It's like a disease, but it's a good one. In this
It's a
situation,
good
it's a
one.
disease that everybody wants.
Yep.
Anyway, somebody asked, I think it was Professor Corvette, said something about the camera being moved on the 2026s. That's right off the bat. That's one of the things we were going to talk about today is some of the changes for the 2026 car in general, not just the ZR1, but the car in general. Moving on though, really quickly, guys, I want to bring Joe on. You know, Joe and I have been putting
Joe.
together the HBO Vet Exchange. He has some really good news about something that we've been working on for the last 2 or 3 weeks about. But let me
Oh,
let me let me bring him on here real quick because
yeah.
I think you guys already know what we're going to talk about. But Joe, you want to take it away?
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
We sure can.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
Justin, David, Brandon, and all. Happy Memorial Day. And to just echo what Justin said, thanks to all that served, David and others that are on the call, and those that paid the ultimate price for us to not only own Corvettes, but to be here and do great things like we are tonight. So with that said, an update for everyone on HBO Vet. We are now 3 for 3 on sales of Corvettes of sellers named Joe. The featured car you'll know was the twin turbo over 700 horsepower C5 has now been sold to Ken, who is a huge fan of the channel and I'm sure listening and joining us tonight. He is the proud new owner of this magnificent show car winner. By the way, this is Ken's first Corvette, and so
Oh,
a well-deserved welcome to Corvette ownership, and could not do it, in my opinion, in much more of a glamorous way with this
no.
beast and glass black winning show car. Over the last week, chatting with Joe, the seller, and Ken, the buyer, and bringing them together yesterday, literally yesterday, was just so rewarding to Justin and I, and was really the impetus, as most of you know by now, for starting this service. And I just want to share a quote that Ken shared with us in a text. And again, Ken is the new owner of the C5. He wrote, "Thanks, Joe and Justin, for making my dream literally come true. Words and prayers could never describe the emotions and feelings I have right now. You are definitely changing the Corvette buying and selling experience for the better." End quote. So all of you, if you know anyone who is, looking to sell a pre-owned Corvette, let us know by contacting us at HBO Vet Exchange.com. That's HPO VETTE, the letter X CHANGE.com, or you can obviously find the link to us from horsepowerobsessed.com. We are looking for a seller at the moment of a low mileage, super clean C7 Z51 auto trans that must have Kalahari interior. So that's the one must. So if you're out there or you know of anyone on that particular build, let us know. And then just more broadly, as I said, if you know anyone selling or interested in buying a pre-owned Corvette, let us know. And lastly, I'll just say that we have now netted the sellers many thousands over what prices they had received from either local dealers or through their attempts to sell privately, while providing the buyers with deals below retail. So that's really what it's all about. And I got to tell you, it's a lot of fun to be able to talk to great people in this channel and community and bring buyers and sellers together. And Joe was very emotional letting this car go after 28 years, but he was very relieved to know it was going to Ken, because Ken's going to give it a great home, and couldn't say more about the car than he has. So I'll leave it there. And thanks, Justin. Thanks, Brandon. Thanks, David. And again, thanks all.
Yep. Thank you, Joe.
See you, Joe.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys.
Can you
So
imagine, Brandon, that being your first vet, dude?
yeah, right. 700 horsepower. You're gonna have your idea of Corvette is pretty much ruined from that point forward. You're not gonna be able to buy anything that's not at least a ZR1 from that point forward.
Yeah, right.
But what's
And that car's
interesting,
so clean too. It's like,
and we're probably gonna get to see it because odds are very good Ken's gonna bring it to Carlisle this year. Me and Ken we've spent a lot of time together at previous Carlisles, but this year specifically, obviously he has a car now. He's going to want to bring it there, so we'll probably get to see it. And if it's there, I'm going to try to make a video with it and everything, because that's a really awesome car. First off, but we're the ones that put him together with the seller, so really a cool service, guys. If you are looking to sell or buy a Corvette, check out the website. Go to horsepowerobsessed.com, and then right up at the top, the HBO Vet Exchange. We can hook you up. If we can't, you get the majority of your money back. So that's definitely the way to do it.
Nice.
But yeah, guys,
This isn't his first car, right? It's not his first fast car.
no, he's had fast cars in the past, just never a Corvette.
Okay,
But,
I was gonna say, man, that's a lot. That's a lot.
That is a lot of power, and I don't know if his
it's a lot.
if his cars in the past have had that much power on a car that weighs that little. So
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah,
That's
so
the thing. 700 may not sound like a lot in today's world, but at that weight,
at that
I think
weight,
it's
yeah,
a lot.
Yeah.
It'll be terrifying.
or
Sounds like a good time to me, though.
I was going to say I'm thinking more like exhilarating, but I guess those two are kind of the same thing. So
Same thing.
all right, guys. So with all that said, this is the last day, the last Monday night in May for the C8 Rally Driver sponsorship. So tonight is the big giveaway for the C8 Rally Driver stuff. It is a carbon fiber frunk cover. Now, if you guys haven't seen these before, I'm about to show you what they look like. This is it right here. So it is literally a solid piece of carbon fiber that fits in the weather trim of your frunk. And it can stay in there while your frunk's closed, open, whatever. It's a great piece for a car show. And you can get it officially with any of the included Corvette or GM logos on here, whatever you want to put on there. So these are your options. You can have the Z06 font put on there like that. That looks great. So either way, it's a piece of carbon fiber with your choice of vinyl on it, as long as it's available there on the website. It will not be a custom piece of vinyl. It'll be whatever's available on the website. But you can see these are roughly $550 plus shipping, so we'll call it $600. Same thing applies. $10 is an entry, $50 or more is double entries. And right before I spin the wheel, I'm going to give the members a chance to get in for their free entry. So don't do the number one in the chat yet. We're going to do that towards the end of the video here, so I can get everybody that is in here on to that wheel. Until then, $10 gets you an entry, $50 or more is double entries. You guys really should look at this. This is a great car show piece. It's one that I've been using for quite some time now. So also, while we're at it, guys, let's smash that thumbs up button. Looks like we got over 100 people in here watching, only 55 thumbs ups. Let's get to 100 thumbs ups by 8 o'clock. And we're going to talk about a little bit of C8 Corvette news here pretty quick. Stuff I bet you didn't know. I bet you didn't know some of this stuff. So smash that thumbs up. Brandon, I can tell on your end you have not hit the thumbs up yet.
I have. I hit
know,
it. Like,
I'm just messing with you.
Dude, he ain't
I hit it before it even
did.
started. I think I was like the number 11 or something. On the
I
lights, if I'm not
I just
mistaken.
wanted to see if it would work. Like, I wish I could see, but I can't. So
No, literally, he was like, no, I did, I swear to God.
yeah, he's like, don't bring that.
verify, but I thought I was
Now
number
you got him
12.
double checking. He's
Yeah,
gonna,
yeah,
he's
I'm
gonna
good.
look.
So I did.
That's hilarious. All right, so we got some entries here already. Looks like we got Riptide Rick, of course. He's jumping in
Holy
on this.
crap! There's a bunch of people coming in on this.
Riptide
Yep.
Rick is in for 2 entries. Ah,
It's
see,
a really cool piece. Like, I wasn't really sure about it when I first saw like online pictures and stuff, but after seeing your car, Justin, I was
Yeah.
like, dude, that looks so good.
I love it.
Yeah.
How
It's
do you
just when you open the front,
transport it,
it's just
Justin?
frunk. But like, you know, everybody, you go to a car show, right? You have your detail spray, you have your towels, you have all over stuff. You can put it under that, put the thing on it, boom, and it's done. You don't have to worry about it.
That's exactly what I use mine for. My frunk is filled
Exactly.
with stuff and it looks messy as heck, but it doesn't matter because I pop that on there and it looks like I just spent all day cleaning it. So
Exactly.
the C8 Rally Driver has the market like cornered on this too, because they're one of the only ones. Actually, I don't know if any other one that makes an all carbon fiber part. His is literally 100% carbon fiber through and through.
Nice. Yeah, and all his stuff, man, like we've talked about Keith before, like all his stuff is amazing quality. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah,
Like
he's
Brandon and I both have his stuff. You have his stuff. Like, I mean, it's amazing.
he's one of those kind of guys that's like, don't make it just to make it better. You know what I mean?
Well, and when you sit and talk to him, you realize this dude's just a car nerd who made parts for Corvettes. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
he really is.
When you talk to Keith,
He's a great dude. He was on yesterday or last week. If you guys didn't see, he was on the show here.
yep.
All right, so I'm just trying to catch up with some entries here. You guys are awesome
That's
as
right,
usual.
Seawolf. We know the work it takes to put in to make it look good, but we don't want people to see the behind the scenes, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
The behind the scenes gets messy. We don't want anybody seeing
It
that.
does.
But
But Chili Pepper says he's having dinner with his family, but watch it on his phone. Now that's
That's dedication.
yeah, it is.
that's dedication.
That's
Either
awesome.
that or a divorce in the making.
I was just gonna
Yeah,
say
fine.
that. I didn't want to say it. Oh, that's great.
Oh, that's great.
All right, Charles is leading the pack right now with 30 entries. So I don't know.
Oh man, there's a lot of people going on this for this thing.
Yeah.
What do they run? What'd you say the price was to buy one, Justin? For
Almost
the front cover?
$600 all in.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're expensive. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're buying literally a piece of carbon fiber. It's
Yeah.
you know, it's perfect center weaved carbon fiber, so it matches all your
And that's
center
what I
line.
loved. That's what I loved the most when I saw your piece. Because when I first saw it, I was like, "How are they going to do that? Like, it's going to be one piece. It's going to be similar." When I saw yours and it was center weaved, and then all the other carbon fiber on your car, the
Yep.
way it looked, I was like, "Yeah, that's a nice piece."
Yep. Oh, there's Jay Brazelton, one of the first ones to use the Onyx, the new Onyx emoji.
Yep.
I know he's not the first, but he's up there. I can't recall who used it first. Look at that.
I think I used it. Didn't you have it last week? I thought I used it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you probably did.
Yeah. I don't remember why. I think it didn't have any significance. I just like put it on there.
Right.
I like to just cruise through and see what's
I don't know how
up.
to incorporate it into the conversation, but I'll just.
And then when I don't
put it-
find anything like I want to use, I just put in 5 Brandons. That's what I do.
Yeah, that the 5 brands is the highest amount of brands you can get.
I know that's the highest amount.
All right, guys. So obviously we got a couple entries here. Charles is leading the pack at 30. And then there's a couple people in there with 20 entries as well. Let's keep rolling with this. We would like, obviously, a lot of this stuff, actually, pretty much all of it goes right back into the channel. So you'll see things improve. You'll see new things on the channel. Your money isn't just out there in the wind. It really does help benefit the channel. Jay Brazelton, I think I did get you.
I just had a brain, like an absolute lightning storm in the brain. Seawolf, Dan, he needs an emoji on the channel for his pup.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that would be
yeah.
crap.
That pup is every show, everywhere. I love.
That's
seeing
true.
the two of them with
That's
that
true.
Pup. Like,
All right, so
that is a loyal HPO
yeah,
follower right
I'm
there.
sure we can make that happen. Dan, if you want to send, or Maria, send me a picture of Coco. I can, as long as the picture's pretty good of Coco, I can cut it out and make it into an emoji.
I love that.
Okay.
Did I tell you I'm pissed at you? Did I tell you that yet?
Me?
Did you what?
Yeah, I'm mad at you.
Me?
Because now,
Oh.
now, so I did the carbon fiber top, right? And then put the RC spoiler. So now there's 2 carbon fiber pieces. So you
They
know how
match.
this goes. You know
Yeah.
where I'm going with this now. So now I'm having to convert every damn thing on my car, which I was all carbon flash.
There you go.
And now that I know that it's all lighter, I didn't think the carbon flash pieces were like much of a weight
They're
difference
heavy.
between carbon fiber.
Yeah, they
But
are.
then after you did the surrounds around the rear hatch area, I'm like, okay, so it seems like every single piece,
Yep.
regardless of carbon flash or not, is lighter going to carbon fiber. So now that bug is in my head.
You're
And
welcome.
yeah. So now I've got to go down this pathway, which I didn't want to have to do, but
Yeah.
it's like once you start, you can't stop. And
Right.
I told myself I
Dude,
would not get to this point. And
I've
now
had the carbon fiber sickness for quite some time now.
Yep.
it just hit me like a month ago.
And it
I'm
just gets
screwed.
worse. Like the better carbon fiber you get, like the RSC stuff, like the better it gets, and you look at it, and you're like, yeah,
Yep.
I need
It's
more.
worth the extra
I
money.
need more.
But yeah, Steve Robertson, I did get anybody who sent me Venmo, I did get you guys in there. You're all accounted for. I usually will show the wheel before I spin it anyway, just in case I did forget somebody. But I got everybody in Venmo, and I got everybody that's super chatted so far. So yeah, we're all caught up. If any of you guys want to get extra entries, keep the entries coming. At the very end, right before I run the wheel, I am going to get the free membership entries in there as well. But we want to get the donated ones in there first, and then we'll get those all at the very end. So if you want to get the free entry for your membership, make sure you're here at the end of this show.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna go ahead and start the ones now, Justin.
don't do it. Don't you do it.
I do that every week.
I know. Yeah, I was gonna say
Like
you're the
five-
first
five
one, and I'm
dollars.
like, what the heck? I said not to do it. All right, Jim Middleton says, sorry, I just got here. Was the giveaway this week? This
Hey,
week
Jim.
it is the carbon fiber front cover from C8 Rally Driver. So that piece right there that says Z06 on it perfectly pops down into the weather trim of your frunk area. It's great for car shows, and you can keep it in there. So even if you close your frunk, it doesn't interfere with anything. And this is being given away. It's a $600 piece. Any of the options that are available on the website can also be on there, as far as like a custom Z06 logo, a C8 emblem, Corvette emblem. If it's available on the website, he can do that. It just can't be a custom, like your own custom logo or something. Whatever's available on the website you can use. Or it can be just a blank piece of carbon fiber if you want. That's cool too.
Or if you wanted to customize it too, you could do a little vinyl printer and just put whatever you want.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
it.
If you
And
want to do it
like
yourself,
your
you can. It's
name or
just
something.
he's not offering that option, but you can do it.
You know, back to your carbon fiber, Brandon, I think you and I had this conversation when you first started modding stuff. And you were like, yeah, should I go carbon fiber? I was like, if you start, every carbon flash piece
Yeah.
on that car will end up getting changed.
I remember
And
you
told
telling me
that.
about that, David.
And you're like, I don't know. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and it's funny because you don't think like the carbon flash would look, well, you kind of think the carbon flash would look better with the rapid blue, but it really, like when you see the carbon fiber, it really looks good, man. Like
Yeah.
your car really
It's got to
looks good with
be
that.
it's got to be a good carbon fiber, because like obviously you guys already know how I feel about RSC's carbon fiber. It's some of the best, if not the best out
Oh
there.
yeah, it's
It
amazing.
looks perfect on the car because it is almost a perfect piece. And I mean, if you throw just junk carbon on there, trust me, been there, done that, it doesn't look as good. So
Right. Agreed.
yeah. Let's see what we got here. 10-second Z06. Did you guys see the ZR1 pace car? Yeah. So that was one of the things we wanted to talk about. Actually, a bunch of my subscribers have been sending me pictures and videos of the ZR1 pace car. And obviously, you know, all of us that were at the bash, we've seen a bunch of ZR1s at this point, but it is still cool to see the way that they had that thing all decked out. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, that was cool.
Agreed. Justin, Z06 is one of the best looking of them all. Thank you. Thanks, guys. You make me feel good about my decisions.
Hey, Justin, have you seen some of the the brand new Porsche Taycan Turbo S? Have you seen the 0 to 60 times they're getting out of that? That's been popping up on socials.
No.
You
What
follow
is
that
it?
at all? Sub 2. They're getting like
Is it?
1.9s, low 1.9s to high 1.8s. 0 to 60 and those things.
That's
Crazy.
nuts.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're smoking a plaid because I think plaids are usually like
Yeah.
2.1, 2.2, 2.4, 2.3, somewhere in there, and it's sub 2, and they're doing it left and right. It looks like that's crazy.
That's crazy, dude.
Guys, smash the thumbs up button. Well, it looks like we got over 100 people in here watching. Let's hit that thumbs up. Let's jump into some news here. Again, guys, if you're interested in the giveaway, it is a carbon fiber frunk cover for car shows. Literally all carbon fiber, real carbon. It's not hydro dipped. And you can specify here if you want to have like a Corvette emblem on it or something like that. It will be a vinyl decal placed on top, or you can get just a blank piece of carbon that you can add something to later. Every $10 is an entry. $50 or more is double entries. You can send it through Super Chat here or directly to my Venmo that's pinned at the top of the chat. Either way will get you entered. While we're doing the entries on that, we're going to talk a little bit about some news because there's some news. And we like news, right?
Some news.
So
Love
over at the Corvette or the Managing Corvette forum, they have put together a list of the 2025 ZR1 colors and combos, everything that's basically the builds. How many there are, what specs there are. And so far, let me tell you guys, if you are lucky enough to have gotten a 2025 ZR1 allocation, Steven,
Mm-hmm.
you have a very collectible car because
Yeah.
the official number is in. How many they have given out for 2025, assuming it doesn't change, and I don't think at this point it's going to. There has been 302 ZR1s. That's it. There's 302 for 2025.
That's crazy.
So if you have one, and I would have had one had I not passed on my allocation, it is what it is, though. I'll be honest with you. I'm not that upset about it. But if you got a 2025 allocation, you have a very rare car. 302. And just to put that into perspective, the 302, that number is going to change within a couple weeks just because people will get their cars and wreck them. They'll fall off a lift, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
You know, right off the bat, you're probably down 20. So the car you have is extremely rare, but we have all of the build numbers too and all of the specs. So we know exactly of those 302, what is built, what car is going to be like color wise, interior wise, all that stuff. Who's this now?
It'd be really hard to drive that car, honestly, with those numbers.
That's exactly why
I would
It would be.
think twice.
Well,
I would, if I had that kind of money, I would just get a 25, keep that, and then get a 26 and drive the shit out of the 26. That's
Well,
the way, if I had the money to do that. I don't, but
And too, like when you're talking about like 25 production rate, so not just the 302, the colors that aren't going to be back or whatever. If you got a Seawolf or a 25 that has you got 300, and then
That's
you
a good
get the
point.
wall of buttons that is
Yeah.
not going to be available. Holy crap, dude!
see,
Like you said, super cool.
I
or
was
Tungsten
just
Blue, because that won't be a
Well,
thing anymore either.
we're going to talk about that because that could
Are they
be
bringing it
something that people even with a 25 aren't getting. We'll
Oh,
talk
crap.
about it though. So
Okay.
the big thing here is, like, I was just talking about this tonight with my brother-in-law. I have my C7 ZR1, and he asked me, he's like, how come you haven't gotten it yet? And I said, well, first off, it's been doing nothing but raining here. But second, and then he says, before I even have chance to finish it, he says, that car's probably kind of tough to just take out and drive, huh? And I said, yeah, it is, because it's worth so much freaking money. And it's like,
Yeah.
if I pull it out and some guy randomly T-bones me, my insurance company's not going to give me $300,000 that car's worth. They're going to give me whatever I paid for, which was $130,000, if that.
Yeah.
And it's like, so now I don't really want to mile up that car, and I don't want to take the chance that someone wrecks it or takes it away from me in some way, shape, or form. So it's like it's scary to drive that, and that's kind of to your point, Brandon. If you are one of the lucky people that got a 25, odds are good these people are not going to be driving these cars. I wouldn't. I'd take it and put it in the garage in a bubble.
I think Steven said he's going to put his in the bubble wrap, not even take the stuff off and put it in the garage. I think he's flat out said that.
Oh, really? Oh, so
Yeah,
he'll
I
probably
think-
get two then, maybe. That's, I'm assuming.
I mean, I'm assuming, but I mean, that's 25 that he's getting. He said he's going to leave the GM seats covered, like the whole plastic, and put it away.
Yeah.
That's probably smart. Well, the other thing, Justin, do you think, is there a maximum that the Corvette Museum Insurance will allow you to, you can state your stated value?
Yeah.
Will they let you go up to 300?
Oh
I
yeah.
wonder.
There's not a maximum. You pay
Okay.
pay based on how high you want to go though. obviously.
Yeah. Well, the
So
other thing too is there's a thing. I don't know if you've been seeing it lately, Brandon, but they've been having billboards here in Atlanta. So people are starting to win these cases for lost what is it, lost value
Lost
or
value?
diminished
yeah,
value.
where people are starting, yeah, diminished value, yeah, so people are starting to win these cases now because there's people that like
Yeah.
actually, well, you know how like it's
Yeah.
a crap show anytime you get on the road in Atlanta, like somebody's gunning for you, it doesn't matter, but there's actually been people like have been winning these cases now for like super rare, like Ferraris, Porsches,
Yeah.
stuff like that. They get hit and they're like they actually win the suit.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, just about everybody who has an accident that has a total vehicle, or even non-total, because I guess it'd be have to guarantee the losses. But those insurance companies are always coming in low, and if you don't fight it,
Always.
their numbers are always super low. You almost
Yeah.
have to fight, and you have to keep fighting in
Well,
order
even
to
if you
get
don't
what the
total
actual
it,
loss
but you've
value
got
is.
yeah, even if you don't total it, but you've got a 25, that you manage to get your hands on, whatever else, and you get right down the street to the coffee shop and somebody jacks it and you have to have it. That goes on the Carfax, man. Value.
hmm Especially these kind of cars. I think it's more. It's like you said. It's more of a thing for the kind of exotic level, like lower
Yeah.
production, those kind of cars, Corvettes. Because Corvette guys they don't want wrecked cars. We're kind of odd group when it comes to that kind of stuff. You don't want like beat
Yeah.
up cars. You don't want Most guys don't want super modded cars, and they don't want wrecked cars. Even if it's a fender
Right.
bender, they don't want.
Right. Exactly.
Because you would lose 50 grand probably on your car, Justin, if you had a fender bender. I bet you would lose
Oh,
50
on
grand
that
of
one?
value just from a
Hell yeah.
$3,000 like
Yeah.
hit to your
Yeah.
fender.
All it has to do is show on a Carfax and bam,
That's
it's worth
right.
less.
Yeah.
Well, did you see the one that just went? What was it? 300 and something. The manual, the M7.
Well, here's what's funny. I just saw one yesterday or the day before. I think it went for like 224, which is the cheapest manual that I'd seen. But I think
Wow.
the options were kind of like it was a ZTK, but I think it was like a weird color. I can't remember what color it was, but that was the cheapest one I've seen
I
was
don't
like
even care though. If
224.
I had 220K, I don't care if it was a weird color or not. Like they only made 3,000 of those jokers, and actually the other day at the Indy 500, I was waiting for them to put a GM executive in the ZR1 and watch him crash it like
nah.
they did. With,
Not
Well,
again,
it's
surely
weird.
not.
Didn't they put Michael Strahan in it, which is even worse
Yeah.
because it's like
that's crazy.
at least the last guy that wrecked it was at least somewhat related to the car. This guy's just like a former football player that probably doesn't know how to
Yeah.
drive anyway.
Although I watched that clip so many times of him
I
putting
know.
it in the wall.
Yeah, I did too. Because I was like, man, that car's nice.
How
Not
do
so
you
much
recover
anymore.
from that at dinner parties?
Yeah,
How
right.
do you go to a dinner
At
party
the
with a bunch of
office,
car
did
guys
you know
and
people
stare them
have
in the
like
face?
signs in his office or like photos of it, like in the office?
There's
You know
big
he
a
catches-
big stop sign, so he knows
Yeah.
not to.
I would probably disappear for 5 or 10
You'd
years.
have
Yeah,
to
right. 5 or 10 years. All right. So Steven says he's driving his out of the museum. It's going to be built next week. That would be pretty cool. Steven, I'm going to have to keep in contact with you because I might have to come down.
We're all
for
going to be
that.
stalking him. I'm going to be waiting for him to come out of the museum. To
Yeah.
follow him.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Hey, look, we've got a shot at beating him because he's not broke in.
Oh yeah, he can't. He can only go what 5,000. Yeah.
my
Hey,
guess is
Steven,
he's
you want to race? You want to race?
he's driving
drive
that out of the
out
museum and directly onto a trailer.
Under a trailer.
Yeah, and then he's trailering it home, putting it in a cave in a bubble. You got to do it
Well,
right.
he said
man.
he's driving it. He maybe he's driving it. I think that's the impression I got from his comment was he was going to actually drive it home. Is that right, Stephen? Or are you?
No, I don't think he would drive
No.
that home.
Okay.
That's awesome. Well, the thing is too, like, the museum experience on top of it, right? You've got 302, you get a color that nobody's getting, you get the wall of buttons, you museum experience, you have the RAC documentation on it as well. I mean, because I'm like, now that you can do the experience where you go back with any car, like, these two guys on the channel know what's coming, but I've got something we're going to be doing at the museum experience for something that's coming for the channel, but like bucket list stuff for me. I can't wait to unveil it. But that just adds one more level on Steven's car. Do you know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you this, David. If you had that car, I understand the value thing. Would you take it to 500 miles just so you could have a few miles of an actual
Yes.
the full beans?
Yes.
At least be able to experience that,
here's
or would
here's
you
the
make
thing,
it say
though,
12 miles?
Brandon.
No.
The biggest reason why, for him at least, he'll buy the car, put it in the garage, and keep it as a collector. And then when the 26s are available, he'll get one of those too. Then
Yeah, and then drive the shit
there's
out of
no that's the one you drive because that's going to be everywhere. But that 25 is going to maintain value to the point where someday you're going to sell that car and be able to easily pay for both of them that you just bought. You know what I mean?
Hey, Stephen in the comments, do you care? Can you tell us again your spec build? Didn't you say was it Torch Red that he said he was doing? Was that
No,
Torch Red, yeah.
Oh,
I
was?
thought
Torch
he was
Red?
doing Torch Red on every. I don't know. Like,
No, I
he's
thought.
got the
I'm pretty
Or is
sure
he,
you
is he
said
doing the
hysteria.
06 to white?
No, I think he was doing
Hysteria?
hysteria. Yeah. Texas Clay said, David, who put their car into the wall? That was Mark Royce.
Yeah, Mark
in
Royce.
2019, he drove the C7 ZR1 into the Indy 500. And he drove into the wall.
Yeah, he was right into the wall. Live TV.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we only made 2,900 of these cars, and now there's one less.
Well, they're like, I'm sure I could hear him like, yeah, we made 3,000. Our GM only made 3,000, 2,999.
Yeah,
Wait, did y'all
under 3,000.
did you guys catch that next comment? He said straight to Iowa. Does that mean it's
Yeah.
getting immediate mods? Is it getting more boost immediately? Is that what you're saying, Steven?
I'm pretty sure, based on what him and I have talked about, this one was going to be stored and kept as a collector. But
Okay.
That's what he texted me.
Yeah.
He was going to be like, just leave the covers on the seats, leave all the
Yeah.
GM stuff. And
But in Iowa, that's where is that where Paragon's at?
Yeah, but
where
that's-
Paragon is, right.
yeah, it
Yeah,
is. And actually,
so
that's not where he
Maybe
lives.
it's
So
getting
maybe he is
it's
taking it
getting
up there.
spacers or something,
Yeah.
like some aesthetic mods, but not engine mods. But that's interesting. Which nothing would surprise me when it comes to
No,
Steven.
yeah, I
It
was
wouldn't
gonna
surprise
say,
me if he's like the turbos, the already biggest turbos on a factory car ever. He's like, they're not big enough. I'm gonna go a little bit.
Yeah, I want them to be bigger than the car. Yeah, so Professor Corvette, if you're serious about wanting to sell your Z06, go to the website, send out an email, and let us know how much you would be wanting to get for that car, because I know you have a baller freaking spec on that thing, but at the same time, it's not going to be worth what you paid for it already. So if you're interested in actually having us try to find a buyer for you, we probably could, as long as your asking price is legit. So if you want to go to the site, just horsepowerobsessed.com and send out an email. Joe will read it, and then we'll figure it out for you if you really want to do that.
Well, I've bought a few things used from him. He has good pricing on that, so I imagine he's probably got a pretty good price on that 06. That's what my guess is.
yeah. Yep.
Okay, so let's look at some of the specs here. So obviously we already mentioned that there's 302 ZR1s made for 2025. We talked about this car being at 2025 for quite some time. I figured it would be, we'd get at least a couple of them at 2025, and then obviously moving on to 2026 pretty quickly. Now that the new interior and everything's out there, some people are going to want to wait. Others that got their allocations are going to see the value in that being such a low production number, older interior, and possibly some of the older colors available. So if we go back to the mid-engine Corvette forum here, we can actually start to see some of the options that were built. So we have 13 Sebring Orange, with 10 of them with Habanero interior. I don't know what other color interior you would do with Sebring Orange.
I have no idea why that wasn't a much higher number.
Yeah. 38 white, 4 with blue interior, and 1 with Habanero. 51 black, 5 with blue interior, 2 with Habanero. And when they say blue interior, I'm assuming they mean the Twilight blue.
The Twilight blue, yeah.
29 yellow, 1 with red interior. Boy, that guy's he's different. 8 Riptide blue, 1 with red interior, 1 with natural, and 1 with the Twilight blue interior. 13 Torch red. No list of what's in the interior. Probably just black, if I had to guess. 3 rapid.
Brandon, look at that.
3
Three
rapid
rapid
blue.
blues?
Rapid blues, dude. 3.
Steven, change your color to rapid blue, man.
So-
That's 3.
Here's the weird thing. Some people, I know one of them was actually, he's probably in here. He's been emailing me about his build. He had a Seawolf Gray order that was accepted, but now the Seawolf is shown on constraint. So I don't know if those guys, if these 3 rapid blue colors are actually going to be built in rapid blue, or maybe they got in super early enough that they squeaked by. But some of the rapid blues and Seawolves are being pushed back as.
Are
a
you not
constraint
surprised
item
at
now.
this, Justin, a little bit? I mean, I felt like guys would be thinking kind of the way we are, looking at like rare colors, rare models, and they would be picking more of the
Well,
rapid
you
blues
got
and
to
the Seawolves.
remember 2 things. When the allocation round first came around for the ZR1, we didn't know rapid blue and Seawolf were going away yet. We didn't know for sure anything about the 2026 model year.
That's true.
The interior change. We didn't know any of that stuff. So some of these things while we
Yeah,
think
but if
it
you
now.
were pretty savvy,
Yeah, I
but
know.
if you were pretty
Yeah.
savvy, you could have looked at the production numbers for 24 and been like, okay, this was not a very popular combination and put one together like that. You know what
Yep.
I mean? But
I
that's
agree.
surprising that Rapid Blue was only 3. Like I would have thought that would have been much
Well,
higher.
I think the reason it's only 3 is because of the constraints. I think a bunch of people got pushed out of it.
Right.
That's
Oh,
true.
okay. Yeah, so then
That's
they couldn't pick it. That makes sense.
That's a really good point.
Because that whole list did not make sense to me when you were reading it out. But
Yeah.
now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, it's let me see. When we get down to Seawolf Gray here, you'll understand more about what I'm talking about because it's the same kind of thing. Seawolf is one of the if basically if I was considering jumping off the black bandwagon onto the Seawolf Gray bandwagon, you know Seawolf's a pretty cool color, and it only had 12.
Wow.
So
Imagine
9
if you got one like,
9 red mist, 12 Seawolf Gray, 1 with red interior, 1 with habanero interior. That's the freaking combination, I think, too. That's
that's the combination. Yep.
yeah. 9 Hysteria, 3 with habanero, 1 with blue. Ooh, I don't know about that. And 1 with natural. So natural I've seen with Hysteria looks good. The habanero with the Hysteria looks good. I don't know about that tension blue though. I think that's a little off.
No, that's it'll be
That'll
rare.
class.
It'll be rare, but
It'll be rare, but
It'll be
class.
rare and it will look
It'll
rare.
be one of one.
Yeah, it'll be one of one, right? So this
Well, I mean,
this is for
honestly, if
the
you got the Seawolf with the habanero interior. I mean, there's only one dude that's got a Seawolf with a habanero interior, and that to me is like one of the best looking combinations. But I mean,
Yeah,
that's one dude.
yep. So that's
That is
just
a really good looking combo, especially if they do the caliper as well.
that's just the coupes.
The orange.
So moving down to the convertibles, things are a little different. 11 Sebring orange with 7 of them with habanero, 1 sky cool gray. That would be an okay combination too, sky cool gray. 16 white, 3 with habanero interior, 40 black, 2 with blue interior, 9 yellow, 1 natural, 1 red. Apparently whoever made this list sold that one. 6 Riptide blue, 1 red interior, 10 torch red, 3 rapid blue again for the convertible, 11 red mist, and only 4 Seawolf grays again, and then 7 Hysterias. So when we
not
add,
even in the convertibles did they do a habanero on that. So that coupe guy with the Seawolf, and
yeah, he's the only
habanero,
one. Yep.
the only dude.
That's gonna be a really good looking car.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, I wouldn't have
Did you see the one
thought
at
so.
The Bash?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I wouldn't have thought so initially until I saw that one at the Bash with the orange calipers, the habanero interior, and that stripe with the orange
That
outline.
stripe.
It works, and it doesn't sound like it would, but when I saw it, I was like, man, that works. That looks good.
Well, and I'm not a fan of stripes, but like that black stripe with the orange pinstripe.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, Justin, do you have a list of how many of those were ZTK? Do you happen to does it say anywhere on there like the percentage? I would
No.
imagine most of them, right?
So here's
they were going to do all ZTKs, but
no, they
I don't know
didn't.
if
No, they're not all
Because there was a
ZTKs.
constraint issue, so that's why I'm curious how many.
Well,
that actually
there
got
was a
ZTK.
constraint, and then it came back and said, "Hey, just kidding. We got some wings. We found some in the corner." So I thought that initially, I speculated that they were going to make all of the ZTK cars first. But then I started to, I talked to one of my subscribers who said it didn't matter to them if ZTK was available or not. They didn't want it. So then I was like, well, they're not going to turn this guy away. They're still going to make that. So if I had to guess, probably 75 to 80% of the cars will have ZTK. I don't think all of them will have it, even based on the fact that GM had some constraints with it. So the 2025, and this, to be honest with you, Brandon, it might be the rarer car to not have ZTK package. So as weird as that sounds, it seems to me like less people wanted. I'm one of them. I didn't even want the car unless I could get the ZTK package. So it could be a rarer car, but it would also be less desirable. So who knows?
Hey, what's up, Chopper Larry? Welcome.
Chopper Larry, what's up, man?
So
Oh,
can
yeah.
I ask one more question, Justin? If you could go back to that moment with that allocation, knowing what you know now, would you have done anything different, or were you still okay with the waiting for the 26? Are you still fine with that, or would you have switched and done the 25? And at that time, I know you couldn't get the ZTK, and just said, "Yeah, no, I'm fine with that," knowing what you know now.
I would have still waited.
Still waited.
Yeah. Because it's like,
And
to me, it's
you're
not
going to drive it now, Justin.
Right.
You're going to drive it.
right. And that's the thing is
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah,
drive it
okay.
first off. But second, it was never this car is my car. I'm not building this thing to keep it in the garage and then sell it later for a massive amount of money.
Right.
That was never my intention. So if it was, then yeah, I would have just grabbed the car to begin with and not worried about the rest of it. But
Right.
I want a car that I can drive, and like I'm experiencing even now with my C7 ZR1, I almost hate the fact that it's so rare because it's like I don't want to drive it. It like
Yeah.
it has a thing in my head where it's like, I don't want to lose this car. But if it was less rare, like my C8 Z06, I love driving that car. I'll drive it anywhere. So
Right.
yeah,
Well, and that's the thing. Like I'm going to run into with the next thing that's going to be coming that we've.
yeah,
talked about,
exactly, exactly.
I'm going to run into
And
that because it's such
I'm
a
curious
rare
to
car
see-
that I'm going to be like.
I'm curious to see how you handle it because it literally eats at me daily. So
I'm sure I'm going to be the same way. I'm sure.
No, I think David, you're gonna be driving it. I think you're gonna be driving.
I think
it.
once I
I
think
think
once
you're
I
not
get,
even gonna you're gonna drive what you got now. You're gonna be driving the new thing. That's what I think.
yeah, I agree. Well, it's just going to be too much fun, and that's
At
like,
least for
even
the
if I
first 6
wanted-
months.
yeah,
What's that?
yeah.
At least for the first 6 months, and then
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
the newness wears off,
exactly.
and then you'll go back to the other thing. So
yeah.
All right, so guys, those of you who are just now joining, the giveaway for tonight from C8 Raleigh Driver is the carbon fiber frunk cover. Real carbon fiber through and through. You can get it customized with any of the official GM logos on it on the website there. Normally around $600. You can win it tonight for $10 per entry or double entries at $50 or higher. So if you want to donate to the Venmo, it's pinned at the top of the chat or just the super chat. Either way, get your entries, get entered in to win this thing because it's a pretty cool piece for $600 that you're going to win for well under $600. So definitely jump in there on that. Yep. Big thumbs up for Memorial Day, guys. Remember those who gave everything, smash the thumbs ups. We got almost 200 people in here watching. We should easily be able to hit around 200 thumbs ups. Let's do it. Smash the thumbs up.
Let's do it, guys.
So, yeah, Professor Corvette says that he thinks most ZR1s are going to be sold at MSRP within the next few months. I am in agreement with that, especially once we roll over to the 2026s and they start ramping up production. I think the 2025s are going to be the ones that are going to sell for over consistently. Other than that, the 2026s you're going to get at MSRP or under. I think we have kind of burst the bubble on the C8 Corvette in general. Not saying that there isn't still a lot of interest, but it's just people have started to realize you don't have to pay over to get these things anymore. So I think we're past that point.
well, do you think some of that's too is the economy as well? I have noticed
It
a
is.
lot of the exotic and high price cars. The prices are all coming down,
Yep.
at least just from
With-
what I follow.
with
It seems
that
like
said,
things are downtrending.
I've been saying for a while now, I've been speculating that summertime, like when we get into official summer of 2025, that some of the prices of these cars are going to start going up again because I feel like around that time we're going to see interest rates coming down and cars being more readily available, and cars like the Z06 and even the Stingray to some degree and the E-Ray, that there's going to be less of them sitting on lots waiting for purchase, and you're going to have to maybe pay a little bit more to get one now. So I'm not talking 50 grand. I'm talking it's going to be a gradual, but I think they are going to go up a little bit.
It's really, that kind of swings anyway, even with like the used vet market for, or used, sports car, muscle car market, like how they kind of wax and wane based on the seasons. A lot of people sell them in the winter. A lot of people buy them in the spring and the summer. So,
Yeah. All right, David, we got you in for, you're going to get 20 entries. Thank you for the donation. Got you in for 20. Okay. So let me get that a thumbs up. That deserves a thumbs up. Mike Lewis says, very unlikely the ZR1 would be sold under MSRP even 2026 or 2027. If this was still 2022 or 2023, I would agree with you, but I've seen some things in the last year especially that really tell me the ZR1 is it's gonna slip under there pretty quickly, just because even the Z06 slipped underneath quicker than the Stingray did, and there was way more of a demand for the Z06 than the Stingray. So
right.
Was it like 2 years? It was less than 2 years for the Z06 to fall, wasn't it? Like, because you had the 23 when we had it, we got MSRP, and they were still.
It was
markup,
shortly
and then
after.
6 months later.
Yeah,
6 months after we got
6
our
months,
car.
Yep. It was ultimately it was about a year after the 23s that you started seeing even brand new 24s slipping under MSRP.
Yeah, and we were the first
Yeah.
24th built. We were
Lewis-
first allocation 24.
Lewis said it. Larry says ZR1s will be at MSRP a lot faster than the Z06s, where I agree.
Yeah, I agree too.
Yep. So one other thing we want to talk about, especially with the 2026s, since we're on that topic at this point, there is the 2026 fleet order guide has come out. So we can see all the options that are available for the 2026 and what cars they're available for. So this is interesting. Some of these, number one, I didn't know, but number two, I didn't realize that they were for multiple versions of the car versus just, one specific performance variant. So this list, I'm going to pop it up here, says this is the 2026 order guide, of course, and here's the new changes for the Chevrolet Corvette. I like it. Interior
Car
refresh, of course, we know it's getting a new instrument panel, door trim, blah, blah, blah. Roswell green metallic, we knew that. Blade silver, we knew it. Santorini blue color, which is their new like blue purplish color. Sky Cool Gray, medium ash gray interior with habanero accents. We knew that. Very dark atmosphere. Knew it. Ultimate suede. We knew that. Asymmetrical adrenaline red / black interior. We knew that, even though I still hadn't seen exactly who that's for. But what comes next was where it was interesting, because you can also get a competition seat on the driver's side with a GT2 seat on the passenger. So
that's cool.
So they're going all in on the asymmetrical thing. Not only is it a different color, but it's also a totally different seat. So you have the competition for the driver, GT for the passenger. I thought that was interesting. So
Does Porsche already do this? Does Porsche do this already? I feel like other manufacturers are doing this.
I honestly don't know off
wrong?
the top of my head that anybody has done this. I personally have not seen this. Next, obviously, we're getting the new infotainment system. There we go. New infotainment system with the 12.7-inch screen, blah, blah, blah. We know all that. The carbon fiber hood display above the display, we know that. But then the 5G vehicle connectivity. So every car in the C8 Corvette lineup is being updated from 4G to 5G. So if you use this service, I personally never have, but if you do, it will now be 5G. Below that, wireless charging pad, we knew that, but it's also now available even on the 1LZ or 1LT cars. So if you get a base model Stingray, you're still going to have that wireless charging pad underneath the infotainment screen, which is pretty cool. Let's see, 2 wireless charging pads for the phone and portable devices on 2 and 3LT or 2 and 3LZ. This is your normal location back on the waterfall. That's still going to be a wireless charger if you have a 2 or 3 LT/LZ. So you'll have 2 wireless chargers in your car, which is, again, that was one of the biggest questions that I heard after the 2026 interior update video. We knew about the dimming removable roof panel, which is electrochromic. Professor Corvette educated us that is not electrochromatic, it's electrochromic. Asymmetrical adrenaline red carbon flash full length dual racing stripes. Again, that was never really shown, but again, kind of odd. Asymmetrical, so it will be red on one side and carbon flash on the other, I guess. Body color, rockers, and splitter. We already knew of those. GT3R fully rendered premium indoor car cover. So we already have that, I believe. Was that that was the C8R. So now we're going to have the actual GT3R, the big wing car that was like at the bash. That will be printed on a car cover. This is another one that was interesting, is that they're now going to offer front illuminated cross flags for your C8 emblem in the front. It'll light up at night. That's something that's been offered in the past on like Camaros and stuff like that, but now it's going to be an option for the Corvette.
That's kind of cool. I like that.
The last option here under new features says carbon flash metallic painted 3-stanchion high wing spoiler that is apparently available in the video, the launch video. We saw this new spoiler on the E-Ray, but it is also available on the Z06. So the Z06 is getting this new spoiler, and so is the E-Ray, which I thought was interesting because I thought for sure this was going to be an E-Ray specific thing since they didn't have the E-Ray didn't have a high wing
Right.
option, but apparently it is for the Z06 as well, which is interesting because that means that there's going to be a third bumper. Oh, they're like, we need that. So we have the one bumper with the dovetail that has 1 million bolt holes in it. The other bumper for the high Z07 wing, 1 million. Exactly. It might be 1 million.
It's awful.
And then we're going to have this new one now that's going to have 3 holes. At least 3, maybe more, but 2 on the ends and then 1 in the center. So there's going to have to be 3 separate bumpers. That's odd that GM would do that. So
also on that list, you're talking about are you about to go back to the middle part of that list? Is that what you're about to do? Because I'll talk about it when you get there.
oh yeah, under the changes.
Okay. Yeah, under changes.
Yeah. So Sirius XM, I don't know that anybody cares about that, but Sirius XM is changing the wording of their stuff. The next one is tension blue. Seat color is now, of course, the Santorini blue, which is again that darker blue / purple.
Right.
Stitching options are now available on the 2LT and 2LZ with jet black interiors, which is very cool. So you can customize your stitching options on your interior without selecting 3LT or 3LZ. Exterior accents on the E-Ray models now include rockers. Z51 Performance Package tires RPO code changed to QUD. So I wonder if their tires are changing. Blue painted calipers are now available on the Z06 and E-Ray. That's cool.
Is that color the the
Is it
ZR1
ZR1
caliper color?
blue?
That is that the same color
Yeah.
that they use on like? Okay, I love that color. It's a really pretty color.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a darker riptide almost. ZTK track performance package now includes the J59 carbon ceramic 10 piston front, 6 piston rear brakes. So that's again only for the 2026s. So those guys who are lucky enough to get the 2025s and store them for resale purposes will not have those bigger calipers. Deletions, Rapid Blue is going away, Seawolf Gray is going away, Tension Blue, Twilight Blue, Interior is going away, Artemis is going away. They never actually specified that till just this document here. Following distance indicator. That's interesting. Wireless device charging. A lot of these are just changing RPO codes. So other than that, that's pretty much it. Now, like I said, I thought the most interesting part of this was like the wireless charging stuff. The stuff that they didn't really talk a lot about, but we have some more clarification on that now. So yeah, KP says Seawolf was gone. Seawolf and Rapid Blue are both deleted for 2026. Let's see. And honestly, to answer your question again, Brandon, about asking me if I knew then what I know now, would I still pass on a 25 ZR1 allocation? To get this car, the way I was going to get it was going to be black, bread calipers, basically the same car I have now, only with the ZTK and a ZR1. Now, at least, if I do get it in 26, now I'm getting the new interior, I'm getting all this other stuff. It's going to feel like a new car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it makes way more sense that way to me. But
I think you're going to be happier too. I
agree.
suspect. I know there's a lot of people on the fence with the new interior, but I bet
But-
90% of people when they actually get in the car are going to be like, hell
Yeah.
yeah, this is like where it's at. This is luxury.
And
It's-
plus, if you're going 26, you're not going to have as much, FOMO
Reset,
for driving
yeah,
out there.
right.
You know what I mean?
right.
Like you're
Yeah.
going to be like, let's go,
Yep.
let's go.
Let's see.
Did you guys get a letter about the over-the-air updates?
No.
I mean, we already knew this and have confirmed it multiple times, but I got one today from GM that said OTAs can get caught in a loop and drain your battery. It's actually
Oh, that's exactly what happened to me. Yeah. Thanks for telling
And
me.
as I
like,
said,
a
we
year
already know it
later.
from
Appreciate
I was going to
experience.
say I thought they sent that out like a year ago.
no, I literally just got it today.
That's so weird.
I was like, yeah, thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so
Let me
much.
check my
I had that update done already. Didn't you
Yeah,
already get it
thanks.
done?
That was fixed.
Yeah,
That
I was going to
fixed
say, you
months
already.
ago. I just laugh how that stuff comes out like so late sometimes.
They should put at the bottom. We recommend anti-gravity batteries just so you are protected.
They would never do that. They would never do that. And you know what's funny though?
Hilarious.
Really quick, a quick note on this. I know, obviously, those of you out there that have an E-Ray you probably already know this.
See, Lewis said he got it too. It's like,
That makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
But anyway, the guys
No
out there
sense.
that already have the E-Ray, you're going to already know this. But the E-Ray comes with a lithium-ion battery to start the car. So from GM, it's a lithium-ion, very similar setup to an anti-gravity battery. And I've been sitting, whenever I found that out, I was sitting there just like racking my brain. Why would they put a lithium-ion battery in this car just for starting the gas engine part of it? Like, if they're going to put it in that
for weight.
and that's what it was.
Weight.
The extra
Yeah,
weight on
yeah.
the front end of the car, they wanted to try to combat as much of that as they could by putting the lithium-ion battery in there instead. And it's like, if you're going to use that on the E-Ray, though, why didn't you just use that on all the cars? Like, that would be such a cool way to save weight.
Unless it's a balancing, but they set it right in the center. So I feel like even if you drop the weight there, it's not going to affect much
Right.
because of where it sits. It's
Yeah.
in the front, but it's not like way in the front.
I
It's
thought
more
that too.
central.
And that's why, one of the reasons why I waited to do my anti-gravity battery until after I did my my AWE Z06 exhaust, because that dropped about 15 pounds off the rear, and then the battery dropped another 20 off the front. So it still kind of evened out. You know what I mean?
Did Squirrel Cage, did he weigh his lithium battery in his E-Ray? Do you know if he's weighed that or not? To see what the weight is. I'm curious how much heavier the factory battery is versus
because it's going to be heavier guaranteed, and it's probably not as much. It's probably not as high on like cold cranking amps or anything either. But that's a great question. I did see his video recently where he had the entire frunk and stuff pulled apart. So I wonder if he did.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I'll have to send him a message if nothing else.
And then honestly, if you drop that weight there, though, Brandon, I think the way that the weight, like you look on your scales, like your weight distribution is so far to the back for traction anyway. I think dropping that up front, even in the middle, is only going to help you hook. You know what I mean?
10 Seconds 06 says, does the E-Ray have the auto stop start? And the answer is yes, it does.
Yeah.
Somebody actually asked a good question, and of course nobody knows this for sure yet, but I speculate the answer is no. Is to, if the Zora comes out and it is in fact a ZR1 engine with a E-Ray hybrid kind of setup in the front, will it still have an auto stop start button? And I said, I don't know for sure. I haven't seen anything saying yes or no, but I would speculate no, just because that thing is going to be so far on the cutting edge of performance. I don't see why they would want to do that, but who knows?
Yeah, you don't want Toyota Camry Tech in your ZR1.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I think they'll probably, if they're going to do it, they'll do it the same, I would think. Just because the car's loud. Yeah, because the car's loud and the people live in neighborhoods like that feature. That's a feature I feel like some people go for the E-Ray just because they can get out of their neighborhood, not piss their neighbors off with it.
Well, no, that's not what I'm talking about, Brandon. That's
no,
you're not talking about that.
The
start stop.
Yeah.
No, I thought you were talking about like the 3 or 4 miles that you get.
Yeah, no, that's like their.
Okay.
No,
never mind.
That stuff, right. That stuff definitely. There's no reason to take that out, but that's like the stealth mode and
stealth mode is what I was thinking of.
But yeah, for this auto stop start where it will literally come to a stoplight and the engine will shut off.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that every car because you're always hitting the button every time you start one. I can't.
Every time.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. There's no way they put that in unless they were mandated to. But
no,
and that was put in during Obama. Did they take that away? That's not a requirement now, is it anymore? Like I know auto manufacturers had to for a while.
No, see, even with the E-Ray, I don't think it was ever a requirement for even the E-Ray. I think they did it specifically to help make it make sense, because a lot of people they still don't realize that the E-Ray was a performance hybrid. It's not a hybrid to save gas mileage. It's a performance hybrid. So they left that button in there to kind of help. Oh yeah, by the way, you might save a penny or two here.
Well, but you might save a penny or two on gas, but honestly, what's the hardest cycle on your car?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the start.
No flow to your bearings.
No oil flow.
It makes no sense. The starter, the battery wear and tear. To me, it makes no sense. It never made sense when they put it in.
That auto stop start though, that actually might be the other reason why they left or they put the lithium-ion battery in there, because of the fact that there isn't an extra strain on your battery to constantly be shutting that car off and on.
Yeah, that's true. Because those GM batteries, even like Stellantis, I mean, they're supposed to last 5 years. None of them really last more than 2 or 3. 2 years out of these new cars.
The battery, even the
AGM ones.
The new technology, new car batteries, they're lasting like 2 to 3 years. And I think it's funny because I replaced the battery in my ZR1, my C8, Z06, and in my Ram TRX. And I know, like, if I hadn't done my Ram TRX, I know this was the year I'd be having battery problems with that thing. And it's only 3 years old. Like, but I know
we're at the far edge of 12 volt. right?
Yeah.
Look at what we're asking a 12-volt system to do. We are so far at the edge of that. You know, it's pushing the battery, even though the charging so much better. But still, man, like just look every time you walk past the car with the key fob, or you walk into the garage
Yeah,
with
it
it,
automatically
system
picks it
turn
up. Yeah.
on. Yeah,
Is that
exactly.
is the lithium battery in the E-Ray, is it a 12 volt or 16 volt battery? I know a lot of places that like Tesla and stuff have gone all to 16 volt
I don't
batteries,
actually
but they're
know
not starting an engine.
I don't know the specifics, and I am going to actually get with Ken after we're done here because I want to know the weight. I can guarantee you it's not going to weigh what the anti-gravity does, but I'm
Might be a
curious.
cheap swap, for us CO6 guys.
It could
If you
be.
could get your hands
Yeah.
on one, yeah.
It probably would be cheaper than an anti-gravity battery, but you'd have to get it out of like a wrecked car or something that's damaged in the rears. And actually, you know what? I thought of you the other day, Brian, because I found there was this Rapid Blue C8 Z06 that it looked like it had burnt. Like the whole cockpit was burnt,
yep.
but the rear bumper
Yeah, I
was
saw
like,
that.
I was like, Brandon could have used that because it was Rapid Blue and it was a Z07 bumper.
Hey, you know that
Just so
engine
with your
I think
torch
from that
bit.
car is on eBay. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Burn all to hell. Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
Wow.
That sucks for them. But yeah, so guys, let's do I don't think we got any more entries here into the giveaway.
How about that to bounce, guys? I gotta go to work, unfortunately, here in just like a couple minutes.
Ugh,
I'll be listening from the car, but I just won't be able to respond.
Yeah.
rough.
David, the guy who's no stranger to working.
Yeah, I traveled back today from Detroit. Like I said, it was a terrible travel day. Oh, it was terrible.
I can't even imagine. That'd be such a nightmare. I bet you have a headache. You had a headache?
Oh, dude, the airport was so bad. I was like, this is the worst day to travel. Ugh.
So
All right.
I did actually have a picture of something I wanted to try to share here if I can. Let me see if I can find this real quick.
Is it that Roswell car?
Yeah,
Better pictures? Yeah.
that was one of them. It was a nicer picture of the Roswell green, but still not looking the way I think it should. It must have still been taken on a little bit of a overcast day or something.
Why do they do that in the builder? They make every color look so much better and like more accented. Like, why can't they
Well,
just make it look
even
real?
the-
Like,
well,
if you're
we
gonna do
saw
a
it-
builder, don't make it look neon when it's not neon. Like
When
it
we
pisses me
saw it
off.
at the bash, it looked good.
Yeah.
In the sun, it looks really good.
It looks
actually, yeah.
great in the sun, and then we see it
Yeah.
in these pictures here, and this is what I want to show. These pictures here is like it's driving in the rain, so mind you, it is overcast, but it still just doesn't look like it should. Like the pictures that are I would say pictures, but I actually saw it in person at the bash were just so much brighter looking than this. And again, forgive the fact that this looks like it was taken with a potato, because again, I
There's
just
so many potatoes out there.
there's a lot of potato
Potatoes.
phones. There's a lot of potato phones, but yeah, I mean there was some other pictures of this I found on the Managing Corvette forum. The guy that took this picture apparently snapped a bunch of them, but they all look about the same, and it's almost like what I would call that car. That color right there is basically Incredible Hulk green.
Yeah.
It looks
yeah,
it's the
sun's
exact same
still
color.
not out though. It's still not the sun. Every picture has been like a rain. Why is it always? Is there never a sunny day in the U.S. where you can get the same color?
I'll be honest,
Actually-
living in Pennsylvania, I kind of feel like there's not.
I was gonna say, actually, I
Well,
traveled to
we've had
Detroit.
rain for a month. Like
Yeah.
I
out in
traveled to
Georgia.
Detroit for work, buddy, and I'm telling you, there's like all the time I've been up there's been like 2 beautiful days.
Yeah.
I don't know how people live in Michigan. Is there like a week or like a month in the middle of summer that makes it all worth it? I don't know, man, because right now I'm just like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
It was in the 40s in mornings this week.
It's
40s.
it's not great. Trust me, I know it's not, but you'd still think we'd be able to get at least one. Like today was nice. Why can't that car be out today?
Right.
But let's see. So one other thing, and this was again in that same video. So from Rick Conti, his video, and I watched the video, he didn't actually comment on this, but whenever he shows the wheels, he's looking at a 2026 ZR1, and sure enough, the wheel shows very clearly the new 10 piston caliper, and it looks weird. Like,
Oh, wow.
I don't know why. I was expecting it to look a little bit different. Not that this is a huge deal, you know. You want this thing to work well. You don't just want it to look good, but it looks weird. it's huge. It's a very large caliper. And I mean, you could tell it's almost touching the back side of that wheel.
That
Yeah,
looks very
19s are
similar
not
to the
going on that.
Urus.
You're
That
not
Urus
getting
that we
19s on that.
saw. Yeah,
Yeah,
that Urus that we
yeah.
saw, Justin. That's a very similar look right there.
Yeah, it is. And if I had to
Very.
guess, it would not even surprise me if it's the same caliper, because
It
they're
looks
both
very
Brembos,
similar.
and odds
Yep.
are good. You know, they're not going to make that many different 10 piston calipers. So really interesting to see that already out in the wild. I don't think he ever showed the rear wheel to see what the 6 piston in the rear looked like. Or no, I'm sorry, he did really quickly. And I could tell the position of the 6 piston caliper has been moved a little bit. So instead of being right on the cabin side of the rotor, it's kind of angled up towards the like almost towards the roof. So
Right.
they moved it a little bit, and typically the placement of that's done for weight balance purposes. So I'm kind of curious why they would have moved it like that, but very interesting. I mean, that's a gigantic caliper, 4 additional pistons in the front, 2 additional in the rear. That thing is going to have some serious clamping force. And one of my subscribers actually sent me a message and asked me, you know, if they're increasing the caliper size, are they going to increase the rotor size? And I said, from what I've seen, no. And that image again kind of, you know,
Well,
solidifies that there's
and
no
the rotor
change in the
size
rotor
is-
size.
The rotor size at where we're at on this car, the ZR1 that is, I mean, that's way more than enough. But people also don't realize it's not 10 calipers like this. It's
5.
bigger, smaller,
Yeah,
smaller, smaller,
right.
smaller. And then basically the way they distribute the clamping force
Right.
on the rotor, why you got 10, so you get a much more
Or
consistent,
even clamping force.
even clamping force. So it's not like you've got 10 things, but I mean, like, it's massive. I mean, I was blown away like you just. I saw the caliper on that Urus. I was like,
Yeah.
good Lord, that thing
Well,
must weigh 60.
The thing is like I'm still like blown away at the size of the caliper that's on the Z06 currently. I mean,
Yeah.
I was messing around with mine. You guys will see a video here soon as to why, but I had it off the car and I was like, this thing weighs like 25 pounds. And it's like just a caliper. That's without the pads and without the pins and the bolts. Like, this is a heavy piece of metal. So
The reason I think they went to the didn't increase the actual caliper size or actually a rotor size was I think because they changed the generation of the carbon fiber, and so as
Yeah.
far as not carbon fiber, carbon ceramic, so they went to long fiber,
Yeah.
which is better for heat. So I think that negated them having to go bigger because it actually dissipated heat better with the new stock. And it looks like some of those pictures that Z06 might be getting that same rotor as well. It might be all across the line going to the long fiber. I don't know if they're going to actually do that or not, but I saw
Well,
some pictures that make me think that.
in the 2019, when the ZR1 came out, they changed the front rotor compound. I believe the same thing, long fiber versus short fiber with the Z06 in the carbon ceramic rotors. They only changed the front rotors, that the rears were the same. So with the C8 Z06 and C8 ZR1, I don't know if they've changed all 4 rotors or if it is again just the fronts.
The pictures I saw of the ZR1 look like, of course, this is the older, the brakes, the 25 brakes. They, to me, look like all 4
Okay.
were the long
It's
strand. That was
possible.
my impression. But obviously cost, so I'm sure that's one of the reasons maybe on the night. And plus that car was more front loaded on the brakes anyway, given where the engine was.
Yeah.
So it makes more
Right.
sense why they did
Right.
it on the front, I guess.
Right.
Well, that's too like why we're not getting like, you know, previous generations cars, C7s, whatever, you're getting bigger and bigger and bigger front brakes. You know, as you get there now, you've got, you know, mid-engine design, so you've got a much bigger rear rotor
Yeah.
and you don't need as big a front rotor, so
Right.
you don't have to keep blasting that size out because you're getting, you know, like Brandon said, like the stress on the front brakes is still a stress on the front brakes, but you don't have all your weight right up there over the front, you know, wheels. It's just
Yeah. So the rotors are on the ZR1, the rotors are thicker. They are not
they are thicker.
They are not larger though. So the rotors itself didn't increase in size at all. Even though GM said that these are the largest rotors we've ever fitted to a Corvette, the rotor size is the same. They're just thicker.
They're thicker.
And the thickness just allows them to last longer,
Yeah.
typically. You know, that's
Last
typically
longer
good.
and
and,
heat
and
dissipation.
repel heat easier. Yeah.
Yep, heat dissipation.
Yep.
Well, and the venting too, because they're all vented rotors, right? Like if you have vents in it, you have this, and you have the vents and the
Right.
rotors as the rotor spins, it's venting air. You get a wider thing, you get more actual
Yeah.
surface area to move more air. So
The guys
same
that are going
with
to be
F1
tracking these
fronts.
cars, they're going to be spending 20 grand if they try to keep those brakes. So, you know, after pretty much a year,
Oh, yeah.
just about on just putting rotors in that car.
Well, you know, I've
can't
talked
imagine.
to a lot of people who have tracked their cars pretty hard. C8 Z06s, C7 Z06s, C7 ZR1s, anything with a carbon ceramic rotor. A lot of the people I've talked to that track these cars on a regular basis, do not say anything about having to replace those carbon ceramic rotors. And I've
The
asked a lot of
carbon
them.
ceramic rotors, they'll wear forever.
Yeah, and I've asked
They
a lot
will
of them
last
straight
forever.
up because, and I've asked them like, do you
Yeah.
suspect you're ever going to have to? Like, I think Jesse Awuji was one of them. He tracks his car, or no, he doesn't have carbon ceramic. Somebody that I knew did,
No,
and
he's
they
iron.
weren't having problems with the carbon ceramics holding up.
Well,
I
that
think
was
some
one
of
the
some
big
of them go to a
selling-
more aggressive compound on the actual brake pad, and so
There
they
you go.
can go through. They can go through the rotors in a season, from my understanding,
There you
and that's
go.
where it gets expensive. Now that being said, obviously it lasts 3 or 4 times what you're going to get out of the iron. But I do think that depending on the compound of the actual brake pad itself, and then how aggressive they are with
Right.
how many
That-
track events, I think
and
they
that's-
can go through them in a year if they do tons of
Exactly.
events.
And that's
Like,
that
it takes
was
a
like the
lot of
biggest-
racing though.
I'll say that's the biggest thing. Like, so the C6 ZR1, when it got the Ferrari Enzo Brembos, carbon ceramic, whatever, if you kept the stock pads in there, it was more than capable enough to track. But basically, you would burn through pads, but you would never burn through a set of rotors. So now, like Brandon was saying, you put on some aggressive pads, you'll start chewing into those rotors, and it'll get expensive. But if
Yeah.
you're running stock tight pads, none of us are good enough to need anything more than the GM carbon ceramic brakes. I mean, every Ron Fellows car had them in 100
Yeah,
degree heat.
that was the other thing
and
I
you're
wanted to
driving
mention.
your butt off, and it
Yeah.
never fade.
That was the other thing I wanted to mention because that's where I asked was at Ron Fellows about their carbon ceramic replacements, and they said we don't ever have to replace those.
Exactly.
I always knew the carbon ceramic rotors and brakes are good for the lifetime of the vehicle, assuming you don't track it. So now when you're throwing tracking in, everybody just assumes, oh, that means these things are going to go bad if you're tracking it. It doesn't seem like that's necessarily the case.
Not if you run stock style pads or OEM style pads. Now, if you go with a more aggressive one, like Brandon said, you will start chewing into them. That's
Yeah.
just a thing. But
I don't know why
I
you
mean,
would change
how many of you that have been to Ron Fellows
Yeah.
were like, "Oh, I needed more
it.
brakes."
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like your
And then-
face comes off when you brake. Like
Right.
nobody goes, "Oh, it was a great car, but I could have used some more brakes."
All right,
Later,
Brandon. Brandon, we'll see you. Thanks for being on tonight, man.
But yeah, I mean, nobody went to Ron Fellows and said, "Oh, I could have used more brakes back there."
Yeah.
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 So
All right, so guys, we're gonna give another maybe 5 minutes for the giveaway here. I want to try to give you guys all a good chance to get entered in on this. If you guys haven't seen it yet, the giveaway for tonight is the carbon fiber front cover from C8 Rally Driver. Real carbon fiber through and through. It's not hydro dipped. And you can get this customized with any of the logos included on the website there, like the C8 emblem. You can choose a Z06 red emblem on there if you would like. Z06 matte black even. I mean, you got all kinds of options here you can choose. It's a $600 piece, and you can win it tonight. $10 entry, or we'll get $10 will get you one entry. $50 or more will get you double entries. So if you want to get in on that, we're going to be giving that away tonight. Again, C8 Rally Driver was the sponsor for May. They make some really awesome pieces. I know David has some on his car. Brandon does too. So Brandon's not putting it on
and
his
more
car.
coming.
Yeah, Brandon's not putting it on his car unless it drops weight. So, yeah, there's a bunch of new products coming. I know of at least 2 of them, and they're pretty cool pieces. But Keith is constantly making parts, and like David said earlier, he's not making junk. Like, he doesn't make parts just to make parts. He makes things that people want, and he makes them in a quality way. So, if you guys are interested in anything C8 Rally Driver, even if you don't win tonight, if you go to the website and you use code HPO, it's going to save you 10% on anything you buy there. So even if you don't win tonight, but you still want something, just remember HPO, and it will save you 10%. So let's see what we got here.
And Z06, man, when you go to Ron Fellows, that's some of the best money I ever spent.
Yep.
That was absolutely awesome. And
Yeah,
your mop and set that up. Go ahead, Justin.
I've heard that it's been tough still to get into Ron Fellows. Like, they're
Sure
still
is.
just like booked solid. So it will be worth the wait. I promise you that. But it was tough even for us to get in there. It was tough.
Yeah. And Brandon and I think our certificate expired in October. We couldn't get into a class, and I tried every time until like September.
Yeah.
It was hard. Yeah.
Professor Corvette says, when are we going to start talking about Carlisle plans?
I was just gonna say that.
That's really a great question, actually. Professor Corvette, I know one thing we're waiting on is we're going to be talking with RSC8. They're going to be setting up most likely between me and David and Brandon's booth. So we're all going to be in kind of the same area as we were last year. I'll be right beside AWE. David and Brandon will be right behind me. We'll have all of our cars there, and possibly an RSC car. Plus, I'm going to have Solar Performance in the booth with me, where they're going to be selling throttle bodies and installing throttle controllers and throttle bodies for anything that's not a C8. So C8 is apparently a little more difficult to install the throttle body on, but they will still install a throttle controller. If you have a C7 or a C6 that you want to port a throttle body on, they'll install those at the show as well. So if you want anything from Solar Performance, there's going to be a little bit of a discount on price from what I understand, and they'll install it at the show, assuming it's not a C8 Corvette throttle body. But you can still buy it there at a discounted rate.
But, and I'll be honest with you, if you've got an aftermarket airbox and not a stock cold air intake, or not the stock intake, if you've got an Eventuri, Corsa, any of that ever else, we might be able to help you out with that. That takes no time at all if it's not the stock one.
There you go.
I mean, we do it like bang, 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 bang. It's easy, nothing to it.
So that's kind of the plan right now, Professor Corvette. We're going to have roughly 3 spots for me, and I think you guys have what, 3 or 4 yourselves?
4.
And we're all going to be
the 2 we had last year and the 2 on either side now.
And we're all going to be right there together. So you can come by, hang out. I'm going to have Solar Performance with me. RSC is going to be kind of between both of our booths, and we might be doing something, a couple other different things too. But that's we'll be talking about that closer to the show. So, Seawolf says same Carlisle setup as last year, pretty much. Yep, that's it. We'll be in the same location. Again, bring your chairs, bring Coco.
Yeah, come hang out.
Come hang out. I would love you guys to just sit there and hang out the entire time. And when I say that, I'm not just being that nice guy that says, oh yeah, please come by. I want you to sit there and hang out and talk the entire show. I genuinely want that. That's what this is all about for us.
Yeah. And you know, that's how the bash was. That's how Carlisle was last year. But I mean, like, just to hit it on there, like, come hang out, talk to us. You know, we just love to BS and just talk about stuff. And, you know, I'm going to have another surprise. There will be another vehicle that we're going to be bringing to Carlisle as well. Like I said, it's a kind of a bucket list thing for me, so I'm excited to get that out there. So it should be getting delivered next week, I'm hoping.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
It's killing me that I'm waiting for.
Professor Corvette says that HPO is expected to be the king of Carlisle. No pressure.
No pressure.
I'll offload some of that to Brandon and David. Then we can all be we'll be the 3 kings of Carlisle.
Well, and honestly, what have we been talking about, right? The group, the community. We've got you, we've got us, we've got AWE. You know, who's
RSC.
Dante's going to be right across. RSC's going to be.
We have possibly the coolest group of people. Like,
yeah,
exactly. And it really is, like, it's quality stuff, it's good stuff, and the people that run the companies are just really quality people.
Exactly. Yep.
Seawolf says, love it. I'm in for some solar throttle body upgrades. Heck yeah, man. We'll hook you up. And as we get closer, Joe and I are going to actually start setting up timetables for installs and stuff, and we're going to start selling spaces. So if you want to get it done at the show, that will be something coming up here soon.
Does Seawolf have an aftermarket color intake on his C8?
I don't think so. Plus, it's a convertible.
Yeah, but still, it would be the same thing.
Jim Middleton says, will you be doing Carlisle takeover shirts? I think we're going to do something like that. Stay tuned for that, though. I'll be talking to David. I'll get some more ideas out of David. You know, I just got to poke him a little bit, and he gives me really good ideas. So
shake the tree and see it falls out.
And there'll be nothing left on the tree. I'm like, no, I need another idea. Oh, that's a good one too. Steven Rapp says HPO King of Carlisle. I don't know. That might be a little too on the nose, but
I'd love to get there though, Justin.
Maybe someday, yeah.
Bro, I would love to be there. I would love for you to be like the event.
The takeover at Carlisle would be pretty cool too, because the amount of shirts that we had for the bash would be like times 10 for Carlisle, because there's just so many people there.
Yeah, that would be great.
Or yeah, we could do takeover hats instead, but not everybody I know wears shirts.
Again, like, wearing it for the show now, I can't just wear it for the
I know.
back.
I wore mine the other day. Shirt. Yeah, it's a good shirt.
I loved it. This one and the Mountain Dew one, like, I wear them all the time, dude. Like, I love them.
All right, so I think I'm gonna start putting in the names on the wheel here. So now's your time, guys. The members, give me a number 1 in the chat, and I'm gonna get you in for a free entry.
First,
Nice. David's first in there. That's good stuff.
But yeah, anybody that has a aftermarket air intake and is thinking about maybe doing solars at Carlisle, touch base with us, because it really is like a 15-minute kind of thing. If it's the Eventuri or the Corsa or the JLT, it's very easy to change.
Yeah, and
So-
and the biggest reason why Joe and Solar didn't want to do it at the show is because, not because it's difficult, but because it's semi time consuming and it's going to kind of limit options
with the
for
air
other cars.
with a factory airbox, no way, dude, no
Yeah.
way. But with any of the aftermarket ones, the way the couplers are different, yeah, I mean, we literally just whoosh, whoosh, done. So, thank you, Seawolf. I appreciate it, sir.
All right, so where are we at for time? I'm going to give
That's actually not a bad idea that Steve
15,
Rapp said.
15 more seconds if you guys are getting that number 1 on there. As soon as we get to 123 here, I'm going to cut it off. What's up, Texas Clay?
Hey, there's Gordon in the chat. What's up, buddy? Hope you're having a good Memorial Day, Gordon. But yes, did you see
All right.
Steven's idea? That's actually not a bad idea to kind of expand on. We need to talk about that. He said, give a shirt out every hour at the booth. I wore mine today, but maybe like hourly giveaways of some stuff, like working with some of our people and shirts and like all of us together and stuff like. That's not a bad idea. But
It's
you
not
have
a
to be
bad
at the
idea.
booth at that hour.
You have to be at the booth. Yep. And that means you got to be there to hang out. That's a good idea,
That's
actually,
right.
because then that makes it.
See, you shook the tree, man. Stuff's coming out.
It wasn't even you this time.
I know. Shaking the tree. 10-second for throttle bodies, negative. It's not any longer. There is that coolant expansion tank or whatever that's kind of like on the back part right there. But as long as you don't have a stock air box, it's pretty easy.
All right. So I'm just getting these things added up here. Some of you guys getting your free entries and
Red
And-
C8
and
Z06.
paid entries.
I don't even know if you're kidding with that. Will someone do Z06 intake manifold swaps in color? I might know a guy.
would you do the swap at the show though?
It really depends on who it is. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It really depends on who it is. So just not because of that, because like controlling the immediate area around
Yeah,
the car when we
right.
get the manifold off, when the intake ports are exposed, is like the most nerve-wracking. All I need is some guy to lean over and drop his lollipop into somebody's intake port, and now we've got a problem.
Lollipop. I like it.
It would be something stupid like that, bro.
Yeah,
it
it
wouldn't
would.
even be. You know it would.
It wouldn't
Or
even be
gum.
something cool.
Yeah, it'd be chewing gum.
All right, so Charles still has the most entries. He's at 31 entries with his free one.
Red C8. I think we talked on Instagram, whatever. Message me. All right. We'll see. We'll see. Because there are a couple of people that if Brandon and I are going to do them, that there are a handful of people that we've talked to that are in the community that we'll work with. So it's all going to depend on space, to be honest with you. We got more spaces in anticipation of this, but like, again, that's really all it's going to come down to, boss. And Brandon and I have got that intake swap down to an hour flat when the two of us are doing it. So
Yeah, you guys did it pretty quickly, even on mine.
yeah. With the last few we've done at his place that people live in Tennessee come down, we've done them. It's been like an hour in and out done.
All right, Steve Robertson. I was going to say you already had one, so you'll get added in there.
Right. Jeremy says the same thing. Isn't it crazy? Like once you kind of do these things and you have an aftermarket airbox, how easy you realize that you can just pull the couplers back, unbolt. And actually, when I did the dyno test, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I did a little secret. There's that one bolt that's kind of in between them that's kind of harder to get to because the way the throttle bodies are together like that. I just only used 3 bolts because I knew I was going to be changing them like 4 or 5 times on the dyno day. So I only just put the 3 bolts in, so that way I even took that bolt out, Jeremy. I think we did with Brandon. It was 10 minutes per set for the change. Now I did burn the crap out of myself on the cast because we were
Yeah.
car cool. I'm still healing from that one, but yeah, it's amazing how quickly you can get some of this stuff done once you've done it a couple of times, Jeremy.
Yep. Yeah, I was telling one of my subscribers the other day that the first time I did the Eventuri intake install, I was like, man, that thing was tough. And now I'm like, I popped that thing out. I've had it out
Oh,
4 or
yeah.
5 times since,
Yeah.
and I'm like, it takes 20 minutes
Yep.
now.
Well, so this Wednesday, I'm going back to injected, and I have a Corsa intake. Thanks, Corey. I'll get it back to you in a minute. Thanks. That I'm gonna test against the Venturi. I'm not even taking the metal frame out of the Venturi because the Corsas will go right through it. It's literally going to be disconnect the couplers, disconnect the MAF sensors, and just pull it out, and then put the Corsas in, hook the boxes on the side, and be done. So
Okay.
party at my place in Nashville. Hey, let's party, Professor Corvette. I love me some Nash
I was gonna
Vegas.
say, I'm down
Don't
for
let me
that.
get my boots out and my redneck on.
Down for that.
Well, you got to see Brandon's redneck as hell too, but he tries to be all fancy redneck. Like he'll wear like a fancy shirt and some fancy shoes. Not me, man. I'm like, cowboy shirt, cowboy boots, jeans. That's all I got, man. I ain't going all fancy.
Nice. All right. So we got a wheel ready to go. Let me just make sure we didn't get any other entries. Oh, we did get an entry. Good thing I checked. Gordon's in for.
Oh yeah, you can't let Gordon out.
He's in for 20 entries. So let me get him on there because I think I only had him in there for one free entry.
Oh snap! Oh snap!
Yep, Gordon, you are now.
I tell you what, if I give my if my number, if my free one member entry hits, it's yours, Gordon. There you go.
Professor Corvette, I'm definitely interested. Pre-Carlisle, yeah.
That's what I said. I'd love to do
this.
Nash Vegas, bro.
Yeah, I've never been to Nashville.
Nash Vegas ain't that far from us, man.
I've been obviously to the Bash a couple times, but I've never actually been to like Nashville.
Oh, you've never been?
Yeah.
Bro.
I mean that we could do that. Shopper Lair says ban lollipops. This is
a
a lollipop free zone, everybody. No lollipops.
Well, I put people when we were doing those last time at Carlisle. I literally would be like, okay, like Corey was there, the other people was there, and I was like, look, okay, everybody get around the car. Nobody comes within 10 feet of this car while we have this off.
I remember that.
Yep.
All right, so here we go with the wheel.
Here we go.
Let's take a look at the wheel, guys. It's purty. There's a good bit of entries tonight. I like it. All right, so I think we're ready. Let's do it.
Oh,
we ready?
Yeah. Big bucks, no whammies. Let's go, Gordon. You get mine too. Yeah, Jay, I'd love to do Nash Vegas before. That'd be awesome. Oh, here we go. Who's it gonna be? Oh, is it gonna go over? No.
Oh,
no.
God, it's right on the edge. All right, Charles.
Congratulations, Charles. I thought that was gonna roll over.
So,
the next one.
So just so we're all on the same page, Charles had the most entries tonight. So somebody said before that it was always seemed like the people that won didn't have that many entries. Charles had the most entries tonight. He was the highest by I think 9. So Charles, if you're still in here, you won, man. Shoot me an email with your. All I really need is just you saying, "Hey, I won," and I'll get you a code from C8 Rally Driver so you can get this thing for free. So. Yeah, big congrats to Charles. Yeah,
That's
Steve,
awesome.
you were literally right on the edge
I
there.
know.
If that would have just gone click.
I thought for sure it was just gonna inch over.
Yeah, it usually does. That's why
I know.
All right, Charles. Just like I said, send me an email. It's just horsepowerobsessed@gmail.com. Give me yeah, you're still in here. Okay, just shoot me an email and I will make sure to get you set up.
Yeah.
But
Congrats, Charles.
I think that's it, guys. We will be talking more about Carlisle in the future live shows here. So be sure to tune in. You definitely want to make sure you're staying up to date. We will get all kinds of information out to you as it comes to us. So definitely stay tuned for that. That information is definitely coming.
Lots of good stuff coming from all of us here. Me, Brandon, Justin. Lots of good stuff coming, guys. So you're gonna want to follow along. Like I said, I got a car being delivered next week that you guys are gonna absolutely love to follow as we take this thing from mild to wild. You guys are gonna love it.
Yeah, guys, smash the thumbs up button again if you're liking the content. Happy Memorial Day. Remember those who gave everything. And
that's right, guys. Land of the free because of the brave. Remember that, guys.
And we will see you guys same time, same place next Monday night.
Take care, guys.
See ya.